Hi there, it's Fred and Fred. Thanks for tuning in to Guitar Media, and welcome to Guitar Media's Fender Bullet video. We're here today to take a look at this 1981 Fender Bullet Deluxe in Dakota Red. So you just have to keep in mind that these guitars were produced at a time where the competition was becoming more competitive, and especially with the import models, say from Area Pro and so many other companies, Hondo and Ibanez, and just the competition was becoming complex, even with Kramer and Charvel and Jackson and just so many companies popping up right around this time. Fender would actually produced the lead series, and then this Fender Bullet series was intended to be an offshore production, but shortly after experiencing quality control issues, they moved the production of the Fender Bullet to the United States, where they would use some foreign parts. Most all of the bullets that I've come into contact with, well, actually all the bullets that had original parts that I've had in the past have had USA parts and USA CTS pots and USA pickups, and really it's very noticeable. I've owned also a Squier bullet, which is the first Squier bullets I believe were made in Japan, and they have a very similar cosmetic appearance to the Fender Bullet. However, you can notice the difference in the pickups and the sound, and while the Japanese, the quality was, they were a good feeling guitar, the sound just wasn't there for me. And I've also owned a 1965 Stratocaster, and I really know what to come to expect from the feel and the sound of a quality Fender instrument. So this guitar has a plywood body and a plastic pick guard and a Fender hardtail bridge system. The Fender Bullet Deluxe was supposed to be the top of the line out of the Bullet series. And what sets it apart from the regular Bullet is the regular Bullet has a metal pick guard. So the pick guard and bridge assembly are all one piece on the regular Bullet, whereas the Deluxe features the plastic pick guard and the hardtail Stratocaster style bridge. These bodies, these plywood bodies, you know, somewhere online it says that the plywood bodies were manufactured in Korea, and it's quite possible that the body and the neck was an offshore production and then obviously assembled in USA with USA parts. But regardless, you know, for me they definitely turned out to be one of my favorite CBS model guitars, and I've owned quite a few through the 70s. And really the only other guitar that comes to mind that I really like the Bullet would be the Telecaster Deluxes with the wide range pickups. Eventually, we do see the Made in USA returning back to the decal on the Fender Bullet guitars and guitar series. And typically these guitars, I've taken notice to most of the necks seem to be maple necks and maple fingerboards, and really just one solid piece of maple. And while they still did offer the rosewood cap, we noticed that Fender seems to use the skunk stripe on the back, and it's the way they make the necks to have the truss rod installed, and it also leaves a small dark area right above the nut on the face of the headstock. And I believe this is the way they install the truss rod. And then on the offshore production necks, quote unquote, they don't appear to have the skunk stripe, and so apparently they're building it and making it with the truss rod, and essentially putting the truss rod in, I guess, under the rosewood fingerboard, which makes a lot of sense. For the pickups, I've got 5.7K ohms for the neck pickup on my meter and 5.8K ohms for the bridge pickup on my meter. And we have noticed that a lot of the Bullets, the sound from the pickups does seem to be somewhat low, and for a few different reasons. Obviously, the pickup is covered, and this is actually one of the reasons why we like the Bullet, because it does lend itself toward clean chiming type tones. But another reason is, if you notice the way they install the bridge pickup, they don't put it at an angle like a Strat or a Telecaster, and this leaves somewhat of a flatter sounding frequency response and just a little less bass, and it is noticeable. And it kind of does make it sort of have like a cheaper sound, but it doesn't bother me. You know, I really like it, and a lot of these amps that we have so much gain that it's not something to be worried about. And the pickups pleasantly haven't been overly microphonic in most of them, with the exception of the H models. start off today plugging this baby straight into the 1980 Fender 140 amp. Our speakers are the 1969 Jensen C12N with the aluminum dust cap. Our close microphone at 24 inches is the Sennheiser E835. Our room microphone is the Nady RSM4 ribbon microphone on top of the cabinet. A little later in the video, we plug in the ART Professional Tube Pack preamplifier, and it's also a compressor, and we use it for the compressor, and we change the speakers to the Celestion sidewinder 15-inch drivers using the same microphones. We thought you might find it interesting to see how these videos are made. We actually turned my garage into a studio, and you can see the lights hanging on the garage door assembly there. We'll also check out the mics and amps and speakers. So this is our 1969 Jensen C12M with the aluminum dust cap, and as you can see, the microphone, our Sennheiser E835, and then you can also see the ribbon microphone on top of the cabinet, which is currently not plugged in. Okay, so this is our Fender 1980 140 amp that we're using for the video here today, and it's over here with all the bass equipment. And just a real quick look at the Jensen from the back here. And so yeah, just another quick look at the ART Professional Tube preamplifier compressor. And we plug the guitar into this and then out of this into the amplifier on a lot of the clean recordings. And this really just brings all it brings everything up to this same volume, and it really helps it. It helps it so that we don't have as many drops in volume, and it also helps for sustain and dynamics on clean recordings. Just another quick look here behind the scenes at my 2008 MacBook Pro, and this is where we take the videos off of the GH5 Panasonic Lumix camera and drop them on my desktop. And then as you can see all these little music signs underneath the video clips, that's where I've taken the videos and dropped them into GarageBand and edited the audio and lined them up with the video. And then later we'll put them into iMovie, and that's where we do our video editing. If you'd like to support the channel or see some of our videos ranking higher in the Google and YouTube search engines, please like, comment, and subscribe, as this is absolutely free and the best way to support the channel. If you'd like to see more of our videos, we have several YouTube channels, including Guitar Media, Guitar Media 2, Guitar Media 3, Music Media, and the EDM Fred Sweet channel, where you can search and find many more of our videos. Thanks for watching, and check our channel for our latest videos.